All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, so it's been quite the few days here, quite the start to the week. We're now on Tuesday, and we have continued pushing higher. I'm just going to say, I think we're probably not going to fall off a cliff tomorrow. I think it's safe to say that, things aren't looking like we are just going to sell from here. SPY and QQ both closed out the day relatively strong, especially over here on QQ. And, this is kind of giving me my hint. Guys, if things are going to fall off a cliff, you typically aren't going to just do it right the next day when these things happen. We have a clear, a market imbalance here to the buy side. We've talked about this. People are definitely shocked. I'm shocked just like you guys are. But I was also definitely thinking that this is definitely possible, and now we are seeing this play out. From this point, I am writing off a new low. I don't think we're coming down to a new low. The whole reason we sold off here, guys, for the past 2 months over here, okay, it was tariffs. All right, here was the fear of tariffs, and here was the 1 week flash crash we had off of tariffs that then got bought up. We based out, we broke up from the base. We're now above the 200-day. We're now above the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level. From this point, guys, pullbacks are just it's going to create a buying opportunity. I don't think we're going to top right here. So don't look to just, don't expect the market to just fall off a cliff tomorrow. I wouldn't be looking for some crazy gap down. I think it's likely we continue a bit higher. And if you are going to see a sell, you probably get a day at least of, an inside bar, a doji candle. So you're going to have some sort of, all of a sudden you have buy orders, buy orders, buy orders, buy orders. At some point, you're going to hit a wall of sell orders, and then you battle it out for a little while. And that's what I'm saying is going to take a day at least. And then that following day, maybe you fall off a cliff. Don't expect you to just boom. All right. Don't expect it. It's not going to happen. Okay. You don't need to trade like that. That's not where probabilities are right now. You're really just aggressively pushing up at this point. You are past your 0.786 fib on SPY and QQ at this point. A pretty large margin there. You come over here to SPY, and this thing is, it's right up there. Okay, from this point on, we know you're probably going to get the 100% retracement, pullback or no pullback. I'm telling you right now, QQQ. Wrong tab. QQQ suggests we are probably going to be continuing a bit higher here. And at the least, you're just not bearish yet. Now, I am going to show you guys on the 15-minute time frame on QQQ, SPY, NQ, ES. All right. You're going to have this bearish divergence. Look at that. QQ is starting to break down right now as we're talking about him. Look, he's hearing us. Okay. He's hearing us talk about these things. All right, especially over here on SPY is just very clear. And what I was telling the Discord going into the close there on voice is that, hey, either we're going to see this play out into the end of day here. We're going to get a little bit more of a sell overnight. And we're probably going to get bought up. We probably go a bit higher. We could, we have room there to go higher the following trading session. All right, or we continue higher. We maybe put in another point of divergence here without getting the sell, and then we're setting up to sell tomorrow, all right, or at least start selling tomorrow, which means we print probably an intraday reversal, like we print a reversal candlestick on the daily, which means we are going to be continuing up. At some point, you start breaking down, and you print, maybe even a lower and an upper wick. We just print a doji candlestick, and then we reverse the following day off that. Who knows? All right, but point is, we are seeing that play out right now. I think by the morning, that will be all taken care of. I think we probably do continue a bit higher. On the upside over here on SPY, we're watching 590.49, 597.34. And then above there, guys, you really don't have anything until you make it a new all-time high. All right, maybe people don't want to hear it. That's how it is. On the downside, all right, 582.84, 577.04, and then you have the 200-day. At this point, I think you probably would just find buyers off the 200-day. I think the most frustrating scenario for most of the market participants is going to be a slow grind higher where you just have these little pullbacks. They get bought up. They're like one-day pullbacks. And then all of a sudden, we're doing something like this, Well, pullback gets bought up. All right. Or something like this. We're like right over here right now. Look, little 1-day pullbacks get bought up. All right. This grind higher into highs. That's what I think that, like, you know, that's the pain trade from here is we grind a little higher, then we pull back. And then, you know, at that point, you're probably just going to come right back up here. People who were late buyers this whole time over there, you're going to get an aggressive, you know, kind of rug pull looking thing. Pull back to the 200-day moving average. Going to be right around where the daily 21 EMA is. All right, right around this 573 spot. And then boom, maybe you get bought back up. So it looks something like that. All right, and then you come back there. Okay, and what does this accomplish, guys? Weekly gap fill. All right, right over there. And we'll actually just mark out where that is going to be. 570.31. That's going to be a target for the downside when we start getting our pullback. I don't think we're going to get it just yet. But I will point out, you have never held a 3% gap up like we have up right now. Just look on this chart. You fill it. You filled it right over here. You had this gap up. Okay. And then you came back and filled it that same week. You just don't leave these things open. But right now it's wide open. So I think we do pull back. I am taking profit on everything. You know, that's what I'm telling my people. If you do want to come kill this market, we've been killing this market. We got 400% over there on Tesla today. We had a similar thing not too long ago on Hood. Hood is pushing up to new highs. And yeah, if you're someone who is struggling trading this market, guys, whether that be options or futures, but you know, options, I'm a swing trader. I'm just going to let you know. And then I day trade futures every single day. I will, you know, I'll be live streaming. You'll be able to, you know, see us try and catch we're going to say 1 to 3. We usually get 1 to 3 clean setups each day. We're going to say 1 to 2 really clean ones with the impulsive moves. After that, we get the slow price action. That's exactly what we got today, guys. After you miss this impulsive move, you usually do get bought up on that pullback, but at that point, it's just a grind. And we fully expected that today. And, you know, it's just frustrating if you're trying to play it. Okay. So just don't go chasing this thing, especially when it has this 15-minute bearish divergence carving out. You knew there wasn't much upside over here, even if it was going to continue making new highs, which it just kept making new highs. You just kept building out these divergences. We're not seeing that play out overnight. All right. But if you're someone who's struggling to trade this market, whether that be intraday or swinging options, okay, we have been doing very well over there. Link will be down below. I will be live every morning to guide you through this market. All right. But in terms of SPY, guys, this right here, pain trade. Okay. Even if you don't, you know, if it doesn't take that much time, maybe it just goes like this. Okay. Just like that. And then just like that next week. And then you're here. And then you pull back maybe. And you're like, oh, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? And then you go up. Okay. And what's going to be right here? Golden pocket. So you're either going to pull back from there and then get bought up, maybe a key spot, or you're not. Okay, we don't know. But, you know, I'm just telling you guys, it's unsafe to be sitting there chasing longs. And I think you're prematurely putting on a short. You're not going to fall off a cliff tomorrow. You're going to probably just consolidate. And then if you're going to do it, you're going to do it the following trading session. And I'm just saying, there's a chance this thing just doesn't do it right now without some things are set up, okay? So downside, SPY, we're talking 582.84, 577.04, 573.75, which is the 200 daily moving average. And then ultimately our downside target is 570.31. That is where that weekly gap is left open right now. On the upside, we have 590.49, 597.34, and 613.23. Coming over to QQQ. Similar boat. Don't be chasing, you know, don't be trying to put on an early short right now. I don't think it's going to work. I now see we are dragged out over there. Okay. I don't think it's going to work. If you do want to put on the short, I think you're very likely just going to get that indecision day or maybe even a week of just like really seeing the imbalance we have right now to the buy side shift back, you know, into balance. And then you have a market auction where, you know, we're going to see a fight go on. And then at the end of the day, I think you're going to break down after that. And then you break up after that. I'm completely writing off the scenario where we revisit these lows. I told you guys, I think that's less probable. I don't remember which day I said it. I think it was over here, though. I'm thinking that's the less probable scenario from here. And then we got this day. And now I'm just like, oh, there's that. And then you get the continuation day after that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, now it's completely off of my book. Okay, we're not looking for that. It's not even a possibility right now. Okay. If it happens, it happens, but it's not a possibility on our radar right now. But on the upside on QQQ, above today's high, 517.39, we're watching 521.95, 527.92, 532.10, and all-time highs, which is going to be at, drum roll please, 540.81. On the downside, we are watching 507.89. That is a gap that is left open. 501.48, and then 493.46 is going to have the 200 daily moving average right underneath, and that is where you just impulsively broke out from. Is also where we have the weekly gap. Weekly gap over here on QQQ is going to be 492.70. All right, so that is SPY and QQ. I'm just going to go over some of these Mag 7 stocks. All right, so Tesla's my beautiful baby today. I knew I just need to wait out a little longer. This was gonna give us some sweet whispers over here, okay? Some sweet nothings. Except the nothings turned in the end to absolute beautiful, just beautiful flowers over here, okay? We had a grand old time. Grand old time. I'll hit this for all of you.
That was easy.
All right, for all of you who rode this absolute monster up with us, okay? You know, from this point, guys, I'm just saying this thing could start pulling back. I know we have all these levels over here, but you know, real talk, guys. This thing is in one of these breakout modes. And if it pulls back, it can. I think it might. I think I'm going to get a better price tomorrow over here. I'm going to be adding June calls, whether this has a larger pullback into this area or whether it just has an intraday pullback into today's range. I think we are getting up to 350 in the short term, and I think we are going to be at 370.304 resistance shortly after that. It is definitely in one of these modes right now. Weekly chart. The only reason, you know, I really don't think it's a good idea just to be chasing that. Let's get the intraday, you know, pullback tomorrow, then see what we do with that. I just think it's very likely that SPY and QQ will fill those weekly gaps, probably this week or next week. And that means Tesla, you know, if we hold up, the markets hold up tomorrow, Tesla has another day to do a good thing. It could get up here. But I'm not sure if you get up here before starting, like, you know, just a little something like that. At some point, you are going to have something like that build up. And I think it's either going to be around 350 or it's over here 370 to 380. All right. So it's one or the other. I'm not really sure which, but I ultimately think this is going to continue higher. Now, this is a reason I do think Tesla's going to continue running here in the short term. Okay. If the market holds up the next 1 to 2 days, Tesla has a chance of getting up here. That's what I'm thinking. All right, but then, so that's one Mag 7 stock. We got Apple over here. Okay, so Apple over here is something that no matter what the market does, it's very likely going to get up here to 214.56 and take that out, probably tomorrow. Whether it just gets a little bit above them, pulls back into it, and then takes its dear sweet time consolidating here and then pushes up, or just decides to push up over 214.56, runs to 219.38, that's irrelevant. All right, what we do know is it's likely getting up here. And at that point, this is going to act as a magnet, this 200 daily moving average. And you didn't hit it over here. I'm willing to bet you're going to hit it over here. Okay, the only caveat here on these charts is the weekly chart. You're coming right into the weekly 21 EMA. All right, you know, if you look back, it's pretty mixed. Do you sell from there or do you rip up from there? It's pretty mixed. Okay, it's a case-by-case basis. What I will say, all right, you found buyers here basing out in a very nice spot, and this is the top of the base. If I had to guess, you're actually just going to blow past this and come straight to 200-day moving average up at 226. All the Mag 7 stocks, guys, you know, they all take the turns. They literally take the turns exploding and having their own consolidations, their own patterns that form. And Apple has not been exploding with the rest of the pack. All right, Apple has been having that one of its own little consolidation patterns going on here. This thing is probably about to break above 214.56, run to 219.38 in the short term. If it rejects there, I have no idea, okay? Because that's where the weekly 21, it's at over here at 317. You know, 317 to not 317, 219 down to 217. You're going to be expecting sellers, okay? So if you're taking this with me, you're going to be taking profit into that area. But I do think there's a solid shot that this thing does just continue up here and has an outsized move over the coming few trading sessions. We're going to see about it. But either way, take off, you know, take off your bulk of your profits here on, you know, new highs over here. See if it's just going to be a sweep. And then if you pull back into here, maybe you can add back what you took off. It's up to you how you want to trade it at that point. But I do think there's a solid shot you get up to 19.38 with how this is set up here on this daily chart. And then from there, I think there's a solid shot that just gets sucked up like a magnet. It's just going to, you know, just be pulled up over the coming trading sessions. All right, so that's Apple. You want to see how NVIDIA closed. Increasing volume here, okay? So if we're going to, this is at the 0.786 fib from this whole decline here, okay? If we're going to take the one from its all-time high, it's going to be from up here. We have some ways to go. We just had a solid increasing volume, wide body green bar close near high of day, okay, above the 200 day. That rhymes. This is probably going to continue pushing. Like, we have a lot of these Mag 7 stocks looking like they can continue. They don't all look like they are going to, but NVIDIA certainly looks like it's probably going to. Apple looks like it's probably going to go a little bit higher tomorrow. Tesla looks like it's probably going to continue 350 to 380. You know, whether they're stepping off 350 to 380, that's anyone's guess. Okay. And NVIDIA over here is looking good. Well, how's Meta doing? All right. Meta also closed out near the highs. And you can see here on the hourly time frame, point out, okay, this doesn't look bad at all. All right. This is you just, you know, kind of consolidating right under resistance here. As long as you, I mean, if you pull back over here, then, you know, it's either you get bought up back up here or you don't. Okay. But as of right here, if it just holds for the open, you know, around here, this doesn't look bad on the hourly. And I'm just going to say on the daily time frame, you can see this thing is just in takeoff mode. You know, this thing has been beaten down to an absolute pulp. I wouldn't be chasing these things. I'm not telling anyone to chase. You got the daily RSI sitting right up into overbought territory. It's right underneath 70 right now. What I am telling you is if we see these pullbacks, I think it's just going to get bought. Like, I think the market's going to keep holding on with how the Mag 7 components are set up right now. I think the market will just hold on for, it could just consolidate. All right. It could provide some traps intraday for both sides. All right. And we could trade back and forth 3 days, or we're just going to keep slightly moving higher, grinding up, like I was saying. That's the pain trade. All right. So aside from Meta, let's take a look at Amazon. Closed out with a bearish shooting star candlestick. Well, you know, that's a pretty mixed look now we have on the Mag 7 stocks. I'm still going to say Tesla, Apple, NVIDIA look like they can continue. Meta also looks like it can continue pushing. All right. Amazon, it's right up against the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. All right, you almost got up to 216, but, you know, this is the trade idea I gave, you know, the Discord members right over here. On the break above 211.66, you're going to be targeting 214.01, then 216.20. I personally, you know, I didn't feel good about recommending, you know, and I didn't want to give a trade plan today for the long side, but I figured you were going to continue, you know, trading. I didn't take this over here. I was just going to be managing my own trades, you know, NVIDIA, Tesla. Cost was looking good in the beginning. You're over there. But, you know, over here on Amazon specifically, you know, this thing can just grind up. Okay. We could definitely see this thing just continue grinding up. And the other, we have 3 out of 7 Mag 7 stocks looking like they will continue. We have now, and then add Meta to the mix. You have 4 looking like they can continue at least. Amazon, I've seen this thing just print these candlesticks and just get bought up the next day. We'll see if we get a scenario like that. It's possible. I think you can push up to where you broke down here, 216.20. That was the second target. Why? Because that's where you broke down from. We're getting very close. I feel like we're probably going to be pushing up there. And if we pull back from here, you're going to get bought up over here. Okay? If you go like that, like, you're probably going to get bought up, and then you test that in the end anyway. Like, both scenarios, you get up here above 216.20. All right, so that's Amazon. It can continue. Microsoft. Is it the most bullish look? No. Is it the most bearish look? It's definitely not a bearish look. Okay. Again, if it's going to fall off a cliff, it typically will consolidate for a bit. All right. We had a very nice hammer candlestick on most of these tickers we cover into end of day yesterday. Probably weren't just going to fall off a cliff today. We're very likely going to continue. And we had a catalyst this morning, so it's like we probably would continue in the upward direction off a pop overnight. We didn't get much of a gap up. All right. But we did get that continuation higher today. All right. But over here on Microsoft, you know, this looks like it can continue pumping. Google over here. Does this look all that bad? It doesn't look all that bad to me. Going to be completely honest. You're consolidating above the 21 EMA. You actually did have something happen over here on Google earlier. Had these God candles sprouting up over here. But, you know, real talk, it's again a Mag 7 stock that looks like it can continue. Well, let's look at the chips. Well, what did SMH do? This is, the things that's going to be tracking all the chips combined. Okay. So what is SMH doing? It closed out at the high after you got above the 200-day yesterday. Like, don't be bearish on this. Don't be bearish on it. Just don't do it. What's TSM doing? It closed out at the high. It's probably going to continue. Oh, what did AVGO do? Closed out at the high. It's probably going to continue. Guys, don't be bearish on this market right now. I'm telling you, I think you're just prematurely shorting if you're taking a short today, because either way, you're not gonna fade the bullish candlesticks we have all in one day, which means you're gonna at least have a day to prepare for your short, which means you got at least a day early. I don't think there's a reason to be shorting right now. Okay, it's not worth it. You just wait for things to actually start breaking down. And I'll let you know when that thing is happening. But right now, it's not happening. Okay, so aside from those guys, I'm going to point to Bros. Bros doesn't look bad at all over here on the weekly time frame. Does just like everything else. It has that gap left open. It does not look bad. I'm going to point to Carvana. It's likely going to continue pushing over the coming trading session. Look pretty weird, just to fall flat on its face here. Okay. I'm going to point to HIMS over here, closed up at the highs, guys. I think this is pushing to new all-time highs here in the short term. I think it's only a matter of time. And then I think, yeah, $90 to $100 HIMS incoming. All right. Rivian, right up against that trend line we're paying attention to. I got the alert set for 1534. We're waiting for the break above there. We could start a big move. Other than that, we're paying attention to hood, guys. Dips are buying opportunities. Give us a hood dip to buy over here. We're gonna buy it. I think this thing pushes all-time highs over here in the short term, though. All right. Other than that, guys, Uber, absolute insane mover over here, pushed up to new highs again today. And this is something that I think is probably in a breakout mode. This is a whole year here. There's over a year of consolidation, just not breaking out. All right, guys, so that's what I have for you guys today. If you would like to come trade with me, that link will be down below. If you enjoyed the content today, guys, if you found value in this, which I know if you're a real trader, I know this is it's the most actionable advice. I take it back. I completely take back what I just said. I let it slip. This is the most, I just let it slip. This is the most actionable technical analysis you can find here on YouTube. I can't believe I just said that. I'm leaving it in. I don't want to edit. All right. But with that being said, please remember to leave a like if you fall into that camp of people who are actually just out there in the trenches, trading these markets each day. Okay. I know you're getting some nice actionable analysis here that you can base some very nice quality trades off of. All right. So please remember to leave the like so we can help boost our channel to the YouTube algorithm. All right. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all in the next one. I appreciate y'all. Peace.